How to create momentum in your life. There's a lot of different things to be said about this. I think the first thing before anything is to know that you create momentum. You don't wait for momentum to get here. You don't wait for life to give you an opportunity and you ride the wave. You create momentum. And why that perspective is so powerful is because when you understand that you create your own momentum, that you create your own opportunities, you start to be able to know, like, you gain a confidence to say that you can do this at will, that you can create opportunities whenever you want. And so it takes away that dreadful feeling of when things feel like they're at a standstill or you feel stuck. You no longer feel stuck in those moments. You become focused on creating the opportunity, because the less time you spend worrying, the more time you spend, or the more energy you have to devote to actually creating momentum. The less time you spend worrying about the fact that things aren't happening for you or things are falling apart, the more energy and the more time you have to figuring out how to get yourself out of that hole. That's the first thing. Momentum's created. A lot of this content is to get you to remember that you are powerful, that you co-create this reality with a higher power, with God. You co-create this thing. And that's an all-powerful thing. Like, in the present moment, think about it. You're making decisions and you're building a reality in real time. You are making changes to a reality based on your decision. The fact that you chose to click this video is you altering your reality in a certain direction or on a certain trajectory. So that's the first thing. Momentum is created. And when you start to see success, I want you to remember that you created that didn't just happen to you. And in those moments, go back and reflect on all the things you might have done leading up to that point, whether it's physically, mentally, energetically. Figure out what you were doing right for long enough to make this thing happen, because it didn't just happen randomly. You created this. And take responsibility for that. The second thing is to create momentum in your life. The fact that you feel like you lost momentum is a perspective issue. You never actually lost momentum. Momentum, there is always there. You are always moving. Just sometimes in our external reality, it doesn't look like it, but things are happening in the background that you cannot see. Life, the universe, God is organizing things in the background, away from you, outside of your house, outside of your vicinity, that you cannot see. And this is why someone makes a phone call to someone who sends you an email to say, here's an opportunity for you. And that's when you hear stories of, oh, someone spoke to someone at work and then they sent another dude an email who then gave me a phone call to say, hey, they want to offer me a job. Like that, like random. It's because those things were always happening in the background. So you're never actually stuck. You just got to give life a chance. You got to give God a chance, an opportunity to organize itself, to organize reality for you. Because you can only control what's in the present moment, but there are things happening beyond time and space that you just need to let happen. Let God do his or its job. You just worry about right now. And that's how you co-create. That's how you work as a team with the universe. That's how you work as a team with God. Is you worry about right now. Just worry about right now. God will worry about everything else. So you're never actually at a standstill. You're never actually stuck. Remember, life is like this yin-yang thing. The lows prepare you for the highs prepare you for the lows. There are never actually any highs or lows. Like the higher, your higher self looking down just sees this as like a neutral series of frames, a neutral series of events. There's no good or bad or high or low. It's just a series of events, and the most powerful version of you is just neutral to it all. Neutral to it all. Neutral to it all. The third thing is, if you want to create momentum in your life, you have to get to a point where you are so accepting of who you are, of your strengths and your shortcomings, the good things about you and the flaws. Whoever told you they were flaws. You must become so self-accepting that everything you do now, from this point forward, is just 100% authentic. And that's a muscle you have to build. Self-acceptance and being authentic is a muscle you have to build. And for most people, it's underdeveloped because we had to conform to our parents, to school, to our employer, whatever it is. We had to watch the way we speak. We had to watch the way we act. Can't say what we really think and how we really feel. People get canceled and all. You must become so accepting of who you are, what you're good at, what you're not good at, the way you speak, if you have an accent, the way you look, and just be like, and just own it. Like, this is who I am, nothing more, nothing less. And when you do that, everything you do from that point, in that mind frame, becomes more and more authentic. Why that matters is because to create real momentum for yourself, not just temporary spurts, but real momentum that you can continue to create, it has to come from a place of real authenticity. The world rewards authenticity, especially in 2024. People can tell when you're faking the funk. People reward and pay for your authenticity. If you want to start seeing more money or success in your business, just be authentic. Be authentic with what you're offering, how you're selling it, what you're promising, how are you showing up. Do you want to go to that function or do you not want to go to that function? You don't have to go if you don't want to go. You can start saying no to people, and people will respect it. More than they will detest or dislike it, they will respect it. They'll respect you because you're being authentic. And people will make space for authenticity, whether they do it by pushing and shoving or by being cordial about it. They'll respect authenticity. People will get out of your way. People will give you the space that you need, and you will start to attract the right people. You'll start to attract the right clients. You'll start to attract the right opportunities because you're no longer going after opportunities you don't actually want. You're no longer creating momentum in a direction that you don't actually want. It's not momentum if you're creating direction. It's not momentum if you're creating momentum in a direction that's going backwards or sideways. Like, if you don't actually want to go to school or become a lawyer, don't go. That's not momentum, because down the road you're going to feel so burnt out, or you're going to quit or whatever it is, and you're going to have to start from scratch. Now, did you ever really make momentum for yourself? Be authentic. And again, that's something we have to learn how to do. Like, I had to work. I was so corporate brainwashed from all the corporate jobs I worked. I didn't know how to be authentic. I didn't know how to be myself. I didn't know how to turn a camera on and just start talking. Because everything I did, I thought my employer would find it and they'd fire me. Like, that's such a crippling slave mindset. If you really think about it, you have to hide parts of you. You have to hide who you are. Because if you upset the wrong person, they're going to take your ability to provide for yourself and put food on the table and pay your rent. That's insane. That is also why I'm a big proponent of entrepreneurship, starting your own thing, be your own boss, because that's insane to me. Like, that's crazy to me. Be authentic. Next thing is hang around with other people who are creating momentum for themselves. You'd think that's like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised as to how many people complain about their life, and you look around at who they're hanging out with, and it's like, oh, well, these are also other people who don't like their lives or who don't want to create momentum for themselves. Everybody can create momentum. It's just folks don't, and it's not even like you don't know how to. Most people are very intuitive in that way. They just don't want to, because it means you're going to have to detach from a lot of things. Like, you're going to have to not be around for a lot of people for however long it takes. I'm telling you, like, if you don't like your life, you gotta switch it up now. You have to. I'm at the point where I love my life, but my life can still get better. And I know it's on me. My dad or mom or whatever it is can't help me. None of my friends can help me. But hang around with people who are creating momentum for themselves, or who are relentless about figuring out how to create it. That's like one of the biggest things. That energy, having that energy around you, energy meshing is a big thing. Like if you look at your life, you can tell who you've been around. And when you look at who you've been around, when you look at who someone has been around, you can tell what their life is like. You can tell what someone's life is really like by who their friends are. And you can tell who someone's friends are by what their life is really like. It's inseparable. You can try to dodge it as much as possible. It's inseparable. And what that means is you might have, like, this is everyone's canon event, is you're going to have to come to a certain point in your life where you have to decide whether a lot of your old friendships and relationships are worth holding on to, because there's going to come a point where, like, those are the things that are holding you back. You've taken care of everything else, but you still feel like you're being held back, and it's that is why you're being held back. It's the people you are around. And that's the hardest thing for a lot of people. I did that, and then I walked back on my decision. Then I removed myself, and I walked back on my decision. Then I removed myself, and I walked back on my decision. And it took me a while. It took me some years with a Y, to be like, all right, you know what, I'm done. I'm out. Not because of them, but because I need to see my dreams come true. I have to know what it feels like. I have to know what it feels like to be making millions of dollars a week. I have to know what it feels like to own a private jet. I have to know what it feels like to have so much money that my life just becomes a dream. I have to know what that feels like. To drive the Phantom. To go straight from the Cullinan to the jet. I have to know what that feels like. I have to. The mansion in Bel Air and the beachfront property in Malibu. Like, I have to know what this feels like. And I promise you, if you had a do-over in life, if you died, and you woke up with a second chance, you'd have no problem doing a lot of things you're scared to do. You'd have no problem cutting people off. You'd have no problem putting yourself out there, marketing yourself. You would have, I can't speak today. You would have no problem starting a business. You would have no problem quitting your job. You'd have no problem breaking up with that person. You'd have no problem separating yourself from the things that don't matter. You'd actually be very quick to identify what doesn't matter, what doesn't really serve you. But people think this life goes on forever. I don't know what it is. People feel like this life goes on forever, ever, or things are just gonna happen for you. No. You create momentum. You create all the things that happen for you. You create it. Especially as an adult. As a child, that's very debatable. But as an adult, it's on you. It's on you. I'm going to end the video here. Thoughts and questions in the comments. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.